Well, how are we doing? How are we doing? How are we doing? It is a great day. It's a blessed day. And on this wonderful day, this is Dr. Gregory Clarke Sr. And it's a pleasure to hang out with you for a little bit. And for those who, since I'm just starting to record, those who were here before the record got a little chance of a musical interlude where, we took it back a little bit, just a little bit, you know. I've seen some of the emojis that were being popped up earlier as we were preparing to come out on live. And I guess the people were enjoying the music. We went back a little, did a little 80s, like late 70s to 80s, late 70s to 80s. So I know one person who's in the room probably would not remember that, but that we was given a little lesson, a little lesson of some of the forerunners. But before we go any further, let me greet the people. Let me start with Sister Juana Mooring. How are you doing today, young lady?
I am doing great. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. That's what this is about. And as we're starting to morph this from the virtual mankind cave to the comeback conversations, I hope that you will allow yourself to be a part of this community as we develop realms of communication that will continue to develop us and allow us all to grow. So, once again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, very welcome. Let me go to my brethren coming from the Caribbean. Probably had a week off last week and relax, which we all sometimes need. It's because we in the Caribbean doesn't mean that we don't need to relax as well. Everyone comes there to those islands and pulls on the people, and sometimes the people need a little, solace and a little time of sea sunset. So, without further ado, Mr. William Richards, how are you doing today?
We are family.
Come on.
I got my brothers and sisters with me.
Come on.
You know, you gotta have your brothers and sisters with you when you're playing that song with Sister
Mm-hmm.
Sledge and the
Mm-hmm.
Chicks. The
That's right.
Chick, it's like that's a solid song. You
Mm.
can't forget that song, and then you remember the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's right. That was their theme
You
song.
also
The year
remember
they
the
won
Pittsburgh
the
Pirates and
Lee
that with being
Stargell
family.
and Dave Parker, and when they won it all in
Yeah, Willie
79.
Stargell, you got it. Roberto Clemente, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's really a family song
Mm-hmm.
that really got the family together, especially with the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's the time they won the World Series
Mm-hmm.
because they were all together. It's all together and it's we are family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and within Dr. Clark today. And how are you doing? So the Blue Man from the Blue Mountain. I know
I'm
that
doing good.
you
I'm
have the
doing.
coffee there ready with you, so I know
Well,
you're ready to go.
ready to go, ready to go, ready to jump into this conversation. Glad to hear your voice and glad to have you once again as we start to wrap up this Mankind Cave season. But as always, I already sent out the communication to be a part of the next dispensation as it's always good to evolve and recognize when you bring something towards its end and then you move on to the next. So thank you for joining us.
Well, you always have the follow up and the presentation that you already established. So it's more or less you have a wider view and a
Yeah.
broader space now you could operate in with
Mm.
all like AI and the rest of it. I'm amazed. I'm just waiting on you right now.
No problem.
Be
No
the
problem.
host.
So let me go and greet some of the other people so we can jump right into this. Let me go speak to the young lady whose team is doing pretty well. Can't front. I'm not a Mets fan, but they kind of spanked the Phillies last night, even though they're still 6 games back. But we're not talking about that. I can't talk because my team is trying to get in a wild card. So right now, I can't even try to belittle her team without, sounding kind of suspect about my own team. So, without further ado, my fellow Bronxite, Sister Nicole Johnson, how are we doing today?
13 to 3, we're doing great. Glad to be here. As you and Mr. William were speaking, I was like, what are they talking about? So I looked it up and I'm like, the first time in like 2 weeks I felt young. Thank you.
Oh
I'm
my God. That is cute. That's cute. Well, why did you feel young? Because we were talking about some stuff that really predates you.
Because I looked it up and it came out in 1979 and I didn't come out yet. So
That's
yes,
what I'm saying. You weren't here yet.
exactly.
It's like she's probably saying, it's like, what are they talking about when they talk about 19 Willie Stargell? Who's Willie Stargell? It's like Hall of Famer. It's like Pittsburgh won it all and all that other good stuff. But yeah, that was an anthem. That was the waning of disco moving, starting to move into the 80s, because that was still like a disco anthem, but it was a that team helped made the song even more popular. It was already a big hit, but with the team, and then the team pulled it as their theme on their theme song for the year. So they started playing in the stadium, and then since they were such a good team, they started getting more national publicity, and then the song got even bigger and bigger and just became this monster hit. So yeah. And it's always a good testament to make us or allow us to remember how we should be in those spaces of community, because that's what the song is really about, generating. It's not about, even though part of the song is talking about, I have my sisters with me, but you can say your brothers, you can say your friends, whatever it is that you want to remove that part, but just to recognize that we are family. And family, even though family starts in blood, I mean, you have your blood family, all those that may have shared some level of DNA strain with you. But at the same time, family is what you develop, your community is what you develop. And even as we're morphing into other areas, you start to recognize how to be flexible and be amendable as things flow along. So, Ms. Johnson, of course, we appreciate you being here. Let us go to Mr. Franklin, who's probably on the road. I just saw that he sent me some of his homework assignments, even though he didn't see me this afternoon. Just very interesting. But let us hear Mr. Franklin from good old Florida in the building. How's everything, Mr. Franklin?
You just have to go there.
Yeah, of course I'm going to go there, Mr. Florida. I'm not even going to say Florida. Florida. How is everything in Florida?
I, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Is wifey with you or you by yourself?
be on the line with the group meeting.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Group meeting. Okay, no problem.
yeah.
So she might pop on after that group meeting. That's okay, that's okay. But it's good to hear your voice. Did you make it to your group meeting? Or your group meeting hasn't come up yet?
Dr. Clark, I have not received an email. I got to call that in.
Did,
And
did you register? Did you follow all the things that
yeah,
all the
I
things?
followed everything.
And you know who your group leader is?
Mm-mm.
Uh, How you don't know who your group leader is? Okay,
I'm
we'll
about
talk
to,
offline. We
yeah.
Good rapid taste and go back and forth offline. But it's great to hear your voice. We want to make sure you're well set up, because if your wife is in her group, you're saying you don't even know who your group leader is, so we're gonna make sure to get you some assistance. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. And without further ado, it is my honor and pleasure to present to some that you know very well. She has her PhD in organizational leadership. She is one half of the linguistic love doctors, and that is what we do um, together in our respective areas. She is the leader of the Speak Your Power Now movement. And she walks around and proclaims to people, especially our people and our women, that girl, you cute. So if you don't have your book, please go to Amazon.com right now and just type in those three words, girl, you cute. And you should see her pop up. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna get it because I can see one of her posters right here. Or maybe I can reach this. Let me give her some free club. You can get this book, okay? It should look like that with the little black girl on the cover, and you'll see her face, and you're not gonna see her face. You'll see the little black girl on the cover. So if you just go on and just say, "Girl, you cute," you'll be able to manifest and get your copy today. Is on Amazon.com right now. No, we don't sell books, but if you desire to be a part of someone's world, you should understand where it is that they come from and how they have germinated and generated into a space that allows them to get to where they're at presently. So without further ado, let us be enthralled by Dr. Cheryl Clarke.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, and
Hello.
God bless everyone. Um, why Nicole is laughing in there is because you didn't see anything on that poster but my face. So
I
you
didn't
should
even
look
say
at
anything.
Nicole. Could you open up your mic and tell them why you're laughing?
Oh, because oh, there we go. There we go. See, I sent
Nothing is shown but my face.
Because that was one of the best introductions I've heard in a while.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
you
right.
should save that. It was great.
oh,
Okay, Nicole.
see? You got your face out there and everything.
Blessings, everyone. I hope everyone is well and thank you, Dr. Clark.
And Sister Mooring said hello to you as well.
Blessings, Prophetess Juana.
Blessings. How are you?
Fantastic.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So before we jump into the teaching tonight, which is going to be based around alpha confidence, and once again, we thank you. We thank all of you who have contributed, all of you who have supported, all of you who have been here on these Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But as always, all good things can get even better. And so as we start to morph in to the comeback conversations, just invite you to become a part of the groups. I started to recognize something. And this was something that I remember learning from my mentor and then did a little research around as well. So this first it was going to be just a men's group. It's just going to be a men's forum. And everything was being positioned and well positioned in that. Even Dr. Cheryl Clarke, she did some excellent work in the background, doing some things and assistance and, assisting me in formulating what would be my next. And one of the things that I recognize when we're some of us who are very spirit led, you allow yourself to be cemented in a plan, but don't get stuck in it. Now it's going to be interesting how I'm sharing this parable. Get cemented in a plan, but don't get stuck in it. And the reason for that is that as I started just to naturally promote it on Facebook and inquiring to people to become a part of the private Facebook group, I started recognizing. I said, I initially wasn't, I didn't send it out to any of the wonderful ladies who made the choice to join. It wasn't something that I was promoting to them. All I was doing my regular posts, promoting this fact that, comeback conversations with Dr. Clarke is going to begin on my birthday, which is Tuesday, September 9th. It's going to start at 7:30 p.m. And then all of a sudden it started morphing into like a lot of different conversations. And like people started just popping in and people said, no, I want to be a part of the group. I want to be a part of it. I said, oh, wait a minute. So I'm starting to see now. Now, what me and Dr. Cheryl Clarke do together with like the power of the 4 A's, and we encourage you to join us on those Thursday conversations. Even if you don't make it, we're going to start uploading that stuff to our joint YouTube channel. So if you have not followed us on that channel, that is Greg and Cheryl Clarke. Remember, Clarke has an E at the end. So if you have not subscribed to that YouTube channel, we have some great stuff, some of the previous things that we're doing. But as we're revamping that, as we're known now as the linguistic love doctors, we start to recognize that even her Speak Your Power Now is not necessarily a woman's movement. It's not, because there are so many individuals, especially when we think about the spaces where it can be potentially lying in misogyny or separatism. Dr. Cheryl Clarke has something that can bless men. And you'd be surprised how many men are naturally speaking their power, especially Black and brown men. And at times we can be caught up in the visage or the person who's sharing what they're sharing and be like, oh, this is just only for females. Oh, nah, I'm not going to really stick my head in because it's only for females. Now, mind you, there are certain pertinent conversations and communications that should be like in a space where if it's just all women, and they're having certain things that, certain things that they deal with. Yes, no man should be sticking their head into that tent and be like, oh, I just want to know what y'all doing. No, no, mind your business and step back. In the same way for men, there are certain conversations that should be in only a space where it's crafted and developed to say, okay, we're gonna have an offshoot conversation where it's just gonna be us over here and we're gonna relate to each other. And there's probably certain things that we will feel more comfortable speaking about if the ladies aren't there. Not saying we don't love the ladies or we're trying to segment the ladies, but no, just like the women need their space, the men need their space. But as I'm starting to see, as this thing is morphing, that's why I said you can be cemented in something but not get stuck in it. I started to recognize how people have started to gravitate towards this particular grouping, and it's starting to expand and grow, and seeing the conversations and the interactions that's happening. I'm starting to recognize the virtual mankind cave situation needed to end. The whole value of money collective, even though it's still my collective, that needed to be retired, because I'm not only limiting myself to having conversations about money. Yes, we're going to talk about financial literacy. Yes, we're going to talk about investments. We're going to talk about all those respective things that we're talking about now, but that's not the emphasis. Because other than just being in a space where we're attempting to get more resources, there are times the real resources that we have to get is to get reacclimated to ourselves, reacclimated to those sense and sensibilities of community. Like as I was listening, thinking and reminiscing about that We Are Family song, I remember I grew up in a space where they would consider us to be a more downtrodden area. But as I remember that song We Are Family in 1979, that was one of the greatest times. I didn't know at the time. But as much as that, New York City wasn't at the top, or was going through its little issue, its pertinent issue, not little issues, its pertinent issues, there was a sense of family. There was a sense of community. There was a sense of level of respect. There was a sense of level of development that occurred. And that development didn't just happen from what I learned from men. A lot of that stuff was what I learned from the women. And the same way that every child deserves to have that man and woman in their life, in their developmental processes, now as adults, sometimes we can segment ourselves to say, oh, I'm just only going to be focused on this. And then sometimes the universe has another plan. And you sit there and sometimes you can be cemented in something, and then are you stuck in it? Oh, I said I was gonna just do. So whoa, whoa, whoa. So there's no flexibility. Okay, since we said this, and there was something else that was presented, not changing the plan, but allowing it to say, no, how flexible are you that if this presents itself, are you gonna be closed off from it? And so I will definitely do more lives, because that's one of the things I started to recognize as I was doing even my recognizance and hitting certain people up, especially online. It's like, no, no, no. There's times that I probably need to go more live, because I've had this ability to go live on so many platforms and I just never did it. Where I can generate those, okay, yo, man, all the men meet me on TikTok live at this time and we can generate a conversation. But this forum is meant to be an offshoot of I know that I know what's bubbling inside of me. And that's to be called to our people and our people in total. So yes, there will be some pertinent conversations that will be male only. It was like, yeah, we're gonna take that to the side. May not even be recorded. You have an issue or something that we can deal with from a counseling standpoint, or me being a master life coach that I can deal with, and we can even see in those venues if you may need another higher level of care, and then I know who to consult to say, yo, this person is doing the da 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 da. What would you suggest? And that would be more or less my wife, who would probably, point me in the right direction in regards to maybe finding a male person if they don't feel comfortable talking to a female who may look like them that can probably assist them. So as we continue to develop these comeback conversations, I encourage you to help us to spread this community. to build this community because it's already building. And I just realized that as I've been getting more and more into my scriptures. It's like, do you get cemented in something to the point that you get stuck in it? And if you're stuck, that means once you're stuck, because cement is good. If you ever see them cement trucks when they're pouring out the cement, and if they're laying down, say, a new sidewalk or maybe a foundation to a house, that cement is still liquid, it's still moving, it's still flexible until it gets hardened. Because once it gets hardened, now you're stuck. And you can't go back and says, oh yeah, we should have did this. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And a foreman or anyone who has dealt with some level of dealing with cement would say, look, once that thing gets hardened, that's it. So I'm gonna ask Mr. William Richards, because I know he comes from a Caribbean island, which a lot of times when they structure their homes, or even probably a Edward Franklin who lives in Florida, I know when they structure their homes in those warmer climates, the reason why they use concrete a lot and then mix it with mortar and things of that nature to withstand the potentialities of the weather. So I would ask first I'll ask Mr. William Richards, do you have anything to add in regards to that aspect, talking about when it comes to cement or a concrete or where I'm going with my thought?
Yes, those are things right now that we're using, say, for instance, with a hurricane, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what they're using right now in the cement is fiber.
Mm-hmm.
So the fiber, you have also like the place like the matting,
Mm-hmm.
you have to put the matting first. And the matters are kind of light, a lightweight quarter inch steel, because you can't put it too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I found out is like we have like in Digno Bay, that's a hotel, and that tested out on those roofs, all the roofs,
Mm-hmm.
because when the thing get hard, nothing moves, right? You can't pong it, if you pong it, it's not gonna move because it's the fiber what they have in it and the chemicals, it
Mm-hmm.
more or less make it harder. And what you're saying is correct.
Thank you for that. Mr. Franklin, you have anything to add coming from Flow Rider?
Not at this moment.
From your experiences. I'll say, so just give me your experiences. Being a Florida native and resident, why is concrete or cement more stable than, building something with just bricks or whatever, especially in those type of climates?
Well, with the concrete, as it hardens here because of the sunshine state, it's not going to move for some years. I would just put it like that.
Okay. That's good. That's good. So I like the different perspectives. I like from what Mr. Richards shared, and even definitely what Mr. Franklin shared. And it's about recognizing our flexibility. How are we going to be so rigid? So when it comes to those men, regardless if you're here live with us right now or you see it on the various platforms and able to experience that, I would encourage you to go follow Speak Your Power Now. And why would you say that, Dr. Clarke? Because there are certain things that you could be trapped in your communications or in the way that you're building language or even in the way your interactivities is not fully expressed, where you need someone who is a master of her craft, who would be able to sit there and say, you know what? If you tweak this and tweak that, if you're open to the possibility, this where always comes back to being open to possibilities, not being stuck in the sense of, okay, I just only need some man to say something to me and say, ooh. Then if we really are spirit led, or if we really are recognizing what the scriptures are called for, I always heard the story, and it's been proved, well, as it's been stated, when you start to see that even when the Christ was on the cross, men weren't there first. It was the ladies. It's the ladies. So sometimes we can be not recognizing our ability to
Would you
be
like an e-receipt?
okay. Okay, whoever that is, okay. Mr. Franklin, if you can mute out.
Thank you for shopping at the Home Depot.
Thank you. We appreciate you shopping at the Home Depot. Hopefully next time you give us the opportunity that we can collect some commercial money from them. Amen. So as we were saying, we can be so caught up at times and not recognizing the power of having those separate meetings, which females may need and men may need. And then at the same time, recognize that we can be galvanizing ourselves in a space where we're not allowing ourselves to really reach a new level of impact. Because I know my wife has male clients in regards to her being a psychotherapist, and she does great work with them. She's helped them. I've heard it, seen it, and sometimes, even afterwards, not being in their sessions, but being respectful enough to say, "Oh, that was a male client." It's like, and they come back, and maybe I may be walking by the room and says, "Dr. Cheryl, you've helped me and this, that, and the third, and you've helped me with this and helped me with that, and helped me to process my feelings and stuff like that." And the same thing goes with communication. Now, the girl you cute, that's for ladies. That I would say, if you're going to join Speak Your Power now, be in those conversations, recognize the fact that girl, you cute. You shouldn't be a male talking about, girl, you cute. That's just my standpoint. I understand we're in a different dynamic. We just respectful of all things. That's just me maybe being a little old school. But to say not to be a part of her overall platform and hearing sometimes the nuggets that she's dropping in regards to things that are beneficial, regardless if you're male or female or not, then it makes sense to say, why am I not following her? Because she's a female? Okay, why am I limiting myself to the possibility or the exposure? In the same way, when I think about it with myself, initially, this was the virtual man cave. It was like, okay, we're gonna have the He-Man Women Haters Club for all those good old Little Rascals fans from back in the days. And it worked for a season. It worked for a time frame. And then I started to recognize it. I think the spirit started dealing with me. It's like, wait a minute. What happens if we expand this thing out? It's not only just this is what I'm sharing. If we're talking about helping people and assisting people, it's not for just only this segment of people or that segment of people. Because we as a whole, as individuals of African descent, we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot of stuff that has commingled us from being as powerful as we should be. And when we start to recognize, yes, we need financial literacy. Yes, we need to be better about our resources. Yes, we should know how to communicate with each other. Yes, we should know how to be able to listen the same way as we should be able to speak. And all of those dynamics come into making you a powerful individual, not just one part. I can powerfully speak here, but everything else is jacked up. Or as my wife would attest to me, oh, you're working out here, but then everything else is falling apart. And it's like, wait a minute, there got to be a balance. How do you bring all the buoys in the harbor up? So when the tide comes in, everyone goes up, not just some people. Well, we all go up. So don't allow yourself to be cemented in certain things that you have the right to your perspective. You have a right to your feelings. You even have the right to have those parts of you that you are really cemented in. But don't be rigid to the point where you're stuck there. That means if a new thought comes, if a new possibility happens, if something else drops into your lap, it's like, oh, I can't touch that. Who said you can't touch that? Who told you that? Who told you that lie? Who's keeping you so in this box that's keeping you from possibility? Instead of recognizing, wait a minute, now suppose I play with this box and I play in this possibility. And I work within the dynamics of this possibility. What is it you're truly showing me or allowing me to experience? That's how you grow, not just from sitting in someone's classroom, but that's how you grow as an individual. There's so many times that we are presented with opportunities to develop and to grow and to be expansive. And at times it could be us. And I'm talking about us as individuals. We are the reason why sometimes we're not well positioned the way we should be. Could have been that decision that you made over there. Could have been that possibility that was presented to you and you said, I'm not going to deal with those people. Who told you that? Even now, in the dynamics as we're going through the season of time here in the United States, as much as I don't care for Donald Trump, he's still our president. That does not mean I may have pointed thoughts about him or seeing certain things like how he's attempting to fire the only black woman on the Federal Reserve because allegedly she had mortgage fraud, which was all still more misdirection, or the fact that over 300,000 black women have lost their positions in the federal government through Doge and him cutting stuff and things of that nature. Remember, back in the day, it was a great thing to go get that government job because you were guaranteed pretty much a job for life. As long as you didn't hurt nobody and do nothing stupid, you did your job. Okay. You put in your years, you cut all that out. See, and these are all the attacks that we have to see, or even as we're dealing with all this stuff with wokeism and the audacity to attempt to minimize some of the atrocities that happened to our people in the past that are truth. It's not hearsay or made up. So even now, in this standpoint, how do we not get stuck to say, "Oh, I'm just going to respond in a forceful way," or just recognize, like, wait a minute. Now, instead of us playing checkers, now we're playing chess. Okay, I'm gonna continue to be getting in my space.